Greetings, Cyberdogs and citizens of the interbubs. This is ReNDoG coming at you from the foundations of Hermitron Halls in another episode of Minecraft Survival from the Hermitcraft server. I hope all of you fine human beings are doing really well today wherever you are in the world. ReNDoG is doing alright. Hello Zombert, say hello to my little friend. Get wrecked. Yeah, I've had a very strange and very weird week, my friends. A weird week in real life and a pretty weird week right here on the Hermitcraft server too. Oh my goodness, it all started a little bit earlier in this week when I woke up with the deadest limb that I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was absolutely insane. I think I talk about this in my last modded episode, but basically I woke up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and I had been sleeping on my arm for the entire night. And you know when you do that, you like sort of cut off your circulation to your limb and it feels sort of dead, right? You can't feel anything in your limb and it sort of comes back to life after a few minutes. Well, it took about 10 minutes for my arm to come back to life, and ever since then it has been feeling very strange. Guys, I want to say a massive thanks to all of you guys out there who showed such insane concern. Wow, you guys were emailing me and tweeting me, asking me if I was all right. A lot of you guys were saying that it could be quite serious, that I could have made a blood clot or something in my arm and that I should go and see a doctor, and that, you know, you were really worried about the ReNDoG. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the love, man. Made me actually feel pretty good. Thank you. Anyway, I think I have pretty much nailed down what is wrong with my arm. It's feeling much better now, by the way, guys. It still feels a little bit strange, but it almost feels like it's kind of sprained rather than damaged. It almost feels like yesterday I played like a really long game of tennis or something, you know, like the muscles feel really strained or whatever. But I realized what is actually wrong with my arm, and it's all because of this very strange week that I've been having on the Hermitcraft server and in real life. Aside from killing my own arm earlier this week, the Hermitcraft server has been playing up this week. Something fierce, man. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the other Hermits talking about it. I think Iskal made a whole video on it, but there has been some really bad lag on the server this week. I don't know what has been going on, but some of us are being affected quite badly to the point where we can't actually record any videos. And I have been experiencing some really insane lag on the server this week. At some point, I was lagging like 1,500 ms. I only had 1 bar of connectivity or so. And it's basically meant that I've not been able to make as many Hermitcraft episodes as I would have liked this week. However, it does seem to have stabilized today, which is great. But I thought what we would do, guys, we wouldn't risk it today, okay? We're going to hang out in the Hermitron Halls together, and we're going to talk a little bit, you and I. I feel like talking to you guys today. So I hope you have a tasty beverage. I hope you have a crunchy snack, because it's time to play some Minecraft Survival with ReNDoG and have a little bit of a talk. Give me 1 second, man. Let me take a sip of this beverage. OJ, baby. Freaking nectar of the soul. Anyway, it's been a very weird week on the Hermitcraft server. Now, I have been playing on the server. I haven't avoided logging on or anything. I have been playing even with the lag. And as you guys can see, I've spent a lot of my time in the nether. I've collected an insane amount of quartz ore, as you can see, and I'm currently mining all of this jazz. Going to be turning this into quartz blocks, of course, because we have a massive project to work on. Take a look at what I've done around here, guys. Instead of recording videos, I've literally just been grinding, placing blocks and building the Hermitron Hall. It is coming together something fierce. I think you guys will agree. I just started working on the roof last night, actually, but I've added another 4 pads into the room, which was no simple feat, and I've been working on the walls of how I want this giant hall to look eventually. Look at this, guys. Isn't this beautiful? We actually came up with this design in a stream earlier this week. And I absolutely love it, man. It does require an insane amount of chiseled quartz, though, because, you know, a good percentage of the wall is made out of chiseled quartz, and all of these are quartz pillars, too. So that's why I've been spending so much time in the nether collecting all of this ore. I gotta be honest with you guys. I died a couple of times in the nether with some serious lag going on, too. So that was not fun. Let me tell you something, the ReNDoG did not enjoy getting his items back from the nether with serious lag going on, but I've managed to grind myself an insane amount of quartz, which is exactly what we're going to need to finish this bad boy off. And today we're going to work on this side of the Hermitron Halls. We're going to be working on that wall over there. Anyway, I realized this morning when I woke up why my arm has been feeling kind of strange. it's been feeling kind of strange because I have played an insane amount of Minecraft this week. I've basically played more Minecraft this week than I think I've played in the last 3 weeks combined. I have been on the server, grinding on this project, building this hall, like 6 hours a day probably, and I think my arm is starting to experience a little bit of repetitive stress syndrome, which is actually one of the things that many of you Cyberdogs sort of warned me about in the comments of that modded video where I told you about my dead freaking arm. And I think it's completely true, man. I think I've just been playing way too much Minecraft and my arm is taking a little bit of a hit. So I've been trying to take a little bit of time off from the computer over the last couple of days or so. Now the week got a little bit weird again this morning also, because I woke up this morning and I had no freaking internet, and I don't know what was wrong. My router wasn't connecting to the broadband service provider. It had the little red light on it, and every now and then out here in the middle of nowhere this happens to me, where my sort of internet connection drops, and it's because I don't live in a big city at all. I sort of live in the middle of nowhere. For those of you guys who are perhaps new to the ReNDoG channel, I'm a real life hermit basically, who lives in the middle of nowhere, and my internet connection isn't always 100% stable. So this morning it decided to drop, and I think it probably dropped around midnight last night, because I remember I was in bed watching some Dota 2 on my tablet, and the internet cut out, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just go to sleep. Maybe the router is just resetting itself or whatever, you know. But I woke up this morning, and lo and behold, no freaking internet until about 2 p.m. in the afternoon, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, when it finally came back. Now, I want to talk to you guys a little bit today about what I have gone through over the last 10 months of living out here in the middle of nowhere. And I had a lot of time to think this morning, actually, that you know, the internet was down and I was kind of panicking. I didn't really know what to do. I was like, man, I need to record some videos. I was going to record a base tour on my server this morning, and you know, I had lots of stuff to do. But I thought to myself, you know what, the internet is down. There's nothing you can do about it. Just chill and do something that you love doing. Right? That's what I sort of told myself this morning. And so what did I do? I got my vacuum cleaner out. I cleaned my house. I cleaned my kitchen. Got my guitar out. I played guitar for a couple of hours and went for a nice long walk to the town and went to buy some food for next week. And just generally had a really nice and relaxed morning, actually. Living life, I suppose, and not recording and not, you know, creating videos or working on YouTube. And it actually made me think a lot about the last 10 months or so that I have been working out here in the middle of nowhere, working on Hermitcraft and working on my YouTube channel. I've noticed something pretty awesome, guys. I don't know how many of you guys have noticed, but we are about 500 subscribers away from 150,000 subscribers. 150,000 subscribers. That's pretty insane, guys. That's unbelievable amounts of human beings that are subscribing to the ReNDoG channel, and it is truly, truly amazing to me. I still, the brain sort of struggles to understand how this has happened or why this has happened, you know. And this morning I was thinking a lot about it and thinking about, well, this has been a pretty insane 10 months. For those of you guys who may be new to the channel, I wanted to give you a sort of quick history of how we have gotten to where we are right now on the ReNDoG channel. About 10 months or so ago, I made a decision to attempt to go full-time on YouTube. At the time, I was living in London and I was working in a full-time job, and I decided that what I was going to do was quit my job, get rid of most of my stuff that I'd accumulated over the last 10 years after living in London, and move out into the middle of freaking nowhere, which is where I live now. The plan was to basically just dedicate myself to the one thing that I have truly, truly loved in my life, and that is creating content on YouTube. I wanted to get away from the city, get away from jobs, get away from responsibilities, get away from people, from, you know, from, if I'm honest, from friends, from talking to other people, from society in general, so that I could give myself every opportunity in the world to make the most of, you know, this thing that I call the Real Life Hermit Project, which was basically becoming a real life hermit and, you know, making videos every single day. we've been doing this now for about 10 months or so, and I can't believe it. 10 months has gone by in the blink of a freaking eye, if I'm honest with you guys. It's been insane. I can't believe that it's almost 2017 now. At this time last year, if I think back to this time last year, I was living in a horrible flat in London, and I was sort of getting ready for Christmas time, and I was sort of getting ready to do a 12-hour Christmas stream and stuff, and preparing all the stuff that was needed for that, and also at the same time working in this job and being insanely stressed and insanely sort of run off my feet and feeling kind of like tense, and not really happy as a person, not really happy as a human, because I wasn't really doing what I truly wanted, which was, to be able to create content for you guys full time. So it's been about 10 months or so that we've been doing this, and this morning when my internet went down, I had some time to think about what I have achieved over these last 10 months. And when I say what have I achieved, I really mean what have we achieved together as a community, because it really has been a team effort, I guess. A lot of the things that I've achieved that I'm most proud of wouldn't have been possible without you guys out there. And those are the sort of things that I want to talk about today, because I was sort of walking around my town today feeling kind of smug. I was like, yeah, baby, 150,000 subscribers. Ladies, get in line, man. The ReNDoG's cooking with gaius. You know what I'm saying? But I realized that it's not just about me. It's not just about me at all. It's about you, and it's about me, and it's about all of the people that have supported me over the last 10 months. It's about the new friends that I've made that have also been supporting me, the new hermits that I've made friends with, the new hermits that have helped take me to places that I never thought I would ever get to, both personally and on YouTube, of course. Now, as I was explaining to you guys a little bit earlier on in this video, before I moved out here to start the Real Life Hermit project, I was living in London City in England. I moved out there about 10 years ago from South Africa, and man, I actually can't believe that I lived in London for about 9 years of my life, man. That's pretty crazy. That's like a 10th of my life in one city, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, for the entire time that I lived in London, get wrecked, frickin' zombie, I lived very strangely. As most of us who live in cities know, living in a big city is a very expensive endeavor. Big cities are absolutely amazing, of course, because you have 24/7 service, you have everything that you need, you have amazing stuff to do, theaters and cinemas and all matters of awesome stuff that you can do every single day of your life, and you're also in the sort of bustle of humanity, and it's really, really awesome, but it's also very expensive to live in big cities, and if you want to maintain a decent lifestyle in a city like London or New York or LA or Tokyo or any of those places, you gotta work your freaking butt off, man. You gotta work so hard that you barely have time to breathe, that you barely have time to think. And I guess that's why time goes so very quickly when you live in big cities. Those 9 years that I went in London feel like they just evaporated, like they just disappeared into the ether somewhere. Where did those years go, man? Anyway, for most of the time that I lived in London, I was living with people. In fact, I would say the majority of time that I lived in that city, I was living with people. When I first moved to London, I landed fresh off the boat from South Africa. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had some money in my back pocket and no bank account, no phone, no nothing. All I had was a piece of paper with the address of my best friend's apartment, because he had moved to London a few years earlier than me, and he had said to me that I could sleep on his couch until I found my own place. So when I first moved to London, I was basically sleeping on a couch in a TV room and looking for a job, and trying to survive and trying to find a way to actually live in that crazy city. I wasn't living just with my best friend though, of course. My best friend was living with about 6 other people. So I was living in a house of 6 people, and I was the new person, and I was the couch dweller. So the house was absolutely packed with humans. 24 hours a day, there was always somebody there. There were always people there. There was always people coming in and out, and it was kind of stressful, if I'm honest with you. It was kind of cool in the beginning, because you have people that you can talk to and people that you can have dinner with and so on. But after a while, you start to feel really claustrophobic, all of these people on top of you all the time. It feels kind of crazy. Sometimes you just want a little bit of peace and quiet. And it took me it must have taken me about 6 months or so to find a job. And to save up enough money to actually put down a deposit to move into my own place. And of course, I moved into a place that was close to my friend's place, because that's what you do, right? You don't want to move out too far, because you sort of, you learn the area, you know where the shops are, you know your neighbors and so on. So I sort of moved just down the road from him, but I moved into a house of, if I can remember correctly, I think it was 5 people. It was two couples and me, I think, was living in this house. So I spent the next 2 years of my life living in this house with 5 other people. And that was great, and they were great people, and we had some good times and some bad times, of course. And this was before I'd even considered recording a YouTube video. You know, I was just living a life in London as a young person. I had quite a nice job. You know, I was making some money, and I was having a great time. I was going to music festivals. I was playing Magic tournaments all over Europe. It was awesome. Had a really, really great time. But I always felt like that I never had any peace, right? There was never any peace. Every moment of being awake was filled with either something to do, like work, or with other human beings, you know? And that's not to say that, you know, it's a bad thing, but after a while, you kind of forget what peace is all about, because all you do is spend your life working and being with people, and you very, very quickly forget what it feels like to just be quiet, to be by yourself, to have nobody to talk to but your own brain, you know? Anyway, I lived in that house for another couple years, and after that, I decided that I was going to move again, and this time around, I was going to move into a house with all of my friends from South Africa. A lot of us actually moved to London from South Africa, searching for greener pastures, and there were about 8 of us from South Africa. We all went to university together, or most of us did anyway, and we decided that we would all move in to a house together. And it was a massive house. It was 3 stories high, absolutely huge, and that was the house where I first started recording YouTube videos, actually, now that I think about it. And we moved into that house. It was about 8 of us, and slowly over time, and they were all guys, by the way. I think it was 7 guys and 1 girl who moved into that house. Slowly over time, I think we lived there for about 2 years too. Slowly over time, those guys and those girls started to get girlfriends and boyfriends, and the house moved from being 8 people in the house to being like 15 people in the house, you know? It was absolutely insane. It was the most insane living environment that I think I've ever experienced. We only had 2 bathrooms, we had 1 small kitchen, we had 1 sort of lounge area, and it was just unbelievably busy, 24 hours a day. I got hardly any sleep in that house. There was always noise going on. There was always something happening in the house, and it's not to say that I didn't enjoy it. I loved my time in that house, but I myself also had a girlfriend who was living with me at that time, and we decided that we would move out of that house and we would move into an apartment together. And when I moved into the next apartment after that giant house of South Africans, it was the first time that I'd spent in London without loads of people. And I moved into this small apartment with my girlfriend at the time, and we lived there for a year. And it was fantastic to, you know, have some peace and quiet for once and sort of have something that we could call a home. It was the first time in 7 years or 6 years of living in London where I felt like I had a home, you know, somewhere where I could say, this is my house. Now, for those of you guys who know the history of the ReNDoG, things didn't quite work out that well. That year living in that apartment, well, that's when things went really, really bad for the ReNDoG, and after about a year or so, my life kind of imploded and collapsed, and I took a break from YouTube for about 8 or 9 months trying to get back on track. That's a story for another day. Anyway, when things went sour for the ReNDoG living in that small apartment, I had to move out of the apartment, of course, because I couldn't afford to live there anymore, and I needed to find a cheaper place to live, because before there were 2 of us paying for it, and now there was only 1, and I couldn't afford to live there. So once again, I had to pack my boxes and freaking move out of that place and find myself a new place to live, and I moved into a house just down the road from that apartment with 10 people. Yep. This time around, however, unfortunately, these people were not my friends. They were just strangers from Gumtree. from the classifieds that had also needed to find a place to live. And we had all sort of moved in there together as complete strangers. And I moved into that house and started to record YouTube videos. Again, for those of you guys who were around for that time, you can probably remember me talking about my housemates, my crazy housemates who used to make loads of noise all the time. And it was absolutely awful. I didn't last very long in that house because it was driving me insane after living by myself with my girlfriend for a year. It was really hard to adapt going back to a house full of people like that, Anyway, I lasted for about 5 or 6 months in that place before I moved out to the place where I lived before the place that I live now. And the place that I moved to after that was a very small apartment in London, a very run-down, very old apartment whose, decor and furniture hadn't been changed since 1923. I mean, it was terrible. It was sort of kind of grimy. The carpets were really old and dank, and there was a mouse infestation in the roof, and it was really freezing cold. There wasn't good central heating. Can you guys remember when I was in there making videos from there? And actually, I joined Hermitcraft when I was still living in that place, which is kind of awesome. And Iskal came to stay with me in that house too. Anyway, I lived there for about a year and a half in that apartment, and things got really, really good for me over that year. I got invited to join Hermitcraft. I got my life back on track. I'd been working a job. I paid off a whole bunch of debt that I'd gotten myself into, and life was looking really, really good. But even though I was living completely by myself there, which was awesome because I basically had this YouTube studio that I could use to record YouTube videos on, I still felt like something was missing. Like it wasn't exactly perfect for me. And throughout the time that I lived in that place, I always had this urge to do something crazy, to really try and throw myself into the whole YouTube thing and to get rid of everything that was holding me back and just move out to the middle of nowhere to create YouTube videos full time, and just to see if it was possible, to see what I could do, to see if I would even be able to do it, or even, more importantly, if I would enjoy it, right? Anyway, I made that move about 10 months ago or so, and those of you guys who were around for that time, you'll remember the vlogs that I made, and I made a couple of journey vlogs to show you guys how I was traveling, and I showed you guys my house and all of that jazz. And since then, it has been 10 months living out here, playing on YouTube, playing on the Hermitcraft server, growing my channel to 150,000 subscribers in 10 months, which is unbelievably awesome. Amazing. There's one thing, though, that for me, well, there's two things, in fact, that for me are way more amazing than just loads of subscribers and being successful on YouTube. For me, out here, living in this house, for the very first time since I left South Africa, I can truly say that I feel at home, that I have a home, that I have a place in this world that belongs to the ReNDoG, that is ReNDoG's place, that isn't a temporary stay while we try to find something better, that isn't a place that holds some bad memories or some bad times that, sort of crop up every now and then. It's a place that I've created myself, that I have earned myself with my own blood, sweat, and tears. And over the last 10 months or so, I've worked really, really hard to get this place looking really, really cool. I've bought some furniture. I've, arranged the house in the way that I wanted to. I made for myself a really awesome YouTube studio. I mean, it's not the most amazing advanced YouTube studio you've ever seen. I mean, my freaking microphone is hanging off a plank, balancing against the wall. But it's still mine. It's my home. It's my work. It's my place where my soul feels happy and where my soul feels easy. Earlier on in this video, I was talking about when my internet went down this morning, and I was actually just thinking now that if that happened to me in London 10 months ago, I would have lost my marbles. I would have gone absolutely crazy. I would have phoned the internet provider demanding an explanation, demanding a refund. Unacceptable that the internet can be down. This is my work. This is my business. I need internet. This is crazy. How dare you do this to me, I would have gone absolutely mental. But since moving out here, and since finding my place in this world after so many years of being a wanderer, I was completely and utterly relaxed. In fact, I was glad that I could spend a few hours just doing things that I liked and that I could just record a video later on, which is what I'm doing now. There's no need to rush, no need to stress, no need to panic. Everything is great because I have a place that I can call my home. It means a lot to me to be able to say this to you guys because before I thought about this and before I started thinking about what I was going to talk to you guys today, I didn't actually realize that I haven't had a home for so many years. I haven't had a place that I could call my home for close to 10 years. And for me, it's just been normal, you know, living the way that I've been living because that's just how I've been living for 10 years. And this morning really sort of woke me up to the fact that for the first time in 10 years, I've got a place that I can call my home, that my heart can call home. And it makes me really, really happy. The other thing that I have really appreciated about being out here and being able to do this is the fact that for the very first time in 10 years or maybe even longer, the ReNDoG has had time to do stuff that he loves. When I was living in London and, you know, being in a relationship and having a full-time job and trying to record YouTube videos at the same time, there was no space for anything else. And all of the things that I loved doing when I was younger disappeared out of my life. These things included stuff like playing guitar, making music, playing Magic the Gathering, you know, those things that you can do when you're a student, when you don't have too many responsibilities, when you've got loads of free time. Now that I'm out here in the middle of nowhere and I've given up on the city life and, you know, trying to make millions of dollars, I'm rewarded with that sacrifice by being able to do stuff that I freaking love. And for the last 3 or 4 months or so, I have been practicing my guitar every single day for about an hour and a half. And it has been amazing. I've been playing guitar since I was about 10 years old, and it's always been a very important part of my life. And I didn't realize that I'd lost it or how much I missed it, for that matter, until a few months ago when I realized that, hang on, I actually have time to play guitar now. This is amazing. I don't really know why I wanted to talk to you guys about all of this stuff today, but I'm feeling really, really positive about my life at the moment. Despite my internet going down, despite my arm almost dying and falling off my body, despite, you know, living in the middle of nowhere with, you know, every now and then having some internet problems and whatnot, despite all of that stuff, I am happy. I'm a happy soul at the moment. There are a couple of things, of course, that I still need to sort out that sort of are hanging on from my previous life, if you will. And I'll get to those eventually. But for the most part, I'm feeling very, very good. Now, there's one more thing I want to say today, guys. And it's a very important thing for me to get out of my system. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the support, the amazingly kind words, the inspiration, the incredible amount of love that you guys have shown me over the last 10 months that I've been out here and been playing on the Hermitcraft server and playing on the Hermit Pack server and making content together with you guys. I want to say a massive thank you for all of the support that you've given me. This wouldn't be happening without you guys. You guys are the fuel of the ReNDoG fire. And every single day I wake up and I'm so, so grateful for you all. And I just wanted to say a massive thank you from me, from the bottom of my heart, for everything that you have given me these last 10 months. You guys have made me a better human being, and I thank you for it. Wow, Cyberdogs, I just looked at my watch and it looks like I've been talking at you guys for about 30 minutes now, maybe more. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that, guys. I got a little bit carried away, okay? My brain and my mouth had a chat this morning, and they sent me a memo, and that memo said, "Today, ReNDoG, in Hermitcraft episode 82, you are just going to talk, okay?" That is the order of brain and mouth. So sorry about that, guys. I'm sure I rambled a little bit on there, but yeah, I did kind of want to talk today and get some stuff off my chest, and I just had some stuff to say to you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it, man. Even though we were rambling on forever, we did get some work done. Managed to put down a lot of the foundations for this wall of the Hermitron Hall. Looking pretty sweet, right? Still need to do a bunch of work, though, to get it looking like that, but that is kind of sweet. Also, we used all of that quartz, basically, which is insane. And it looks like it's not going to be enough quartz either. I'm going to have to go back to the nether again. No! Oh, that is so freaking painful. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for my brain, my mouth, and the ReNDoG today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And yeah, let me know in the comments section below. I don't know, anything really. Any thoughts, any comments, anything you want to say, hit me up in the comment section below, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, we will see you all in the next episode, where I'll try not to speak so much, and hopefully we can get some progress done. Thanks for watching, everybody. ReNDoG, signing out.